Hi everyone, William here. So I know it's been a while since I've done one of these sort of videos, but after the bad day I had, I have to do this. So I came home unfortunately with two pretty bad test scores. I mean, this one I got a week ago, but I have to talk about it too as well as this. I've been thinking about this for a long time now. So I got a law test and an English test with me right now, and I had a pretty nice mark in law a while back until it dropped 7% because of this test. 7%. It was actually 10%, but there was something attached to the test that I attached that wasn't supposed to be attached, and my teacher found it later and put it up 3%, but still, 7% drop. I don't know how much my English mark is going to drop because of this test, but hopefully it isn't too much, which I doubt. Yeah, I know you've had one of these tests too. One that you've studied so much for and you're sure it'll bump your mark up tremendously, maybe even make you a scholar or whatever they call the gods, and then it ends up being a big clunker. Why have I been so unlucky with my marks lately? It's not like I wait till the last minute to study. In fact, I remember working 3 long hours on studying for this test, and it wasn't even the last day. So I could go into a 10-minute detail on what's wrong with this law test. In fact, last week on that laptop of mine, I emailed my teacher a big angry email about all the stuff that I think she graded unfairly. To give you guys a basic understanding, the first part of the test was for me to identify and give the legal significance to 8 terms. That's all she asked. And there were 12, so I picked 8 and gave them. The only thing is, they were out of 2, and for most of them, I got docked 1 mark because she wanted me to go into so much more detail about this legal significance, or she asked me a question, and she then said, "How is it done in Canada?" Basically, a lot of these marks got dropped down because I didn't include something that was Canadian, which was not in the question. Another part is when she asks me to give short answers, like it says short answer, and then to answer 4 of the following. And then the next thing I know, she asks me to go into more detail when it's supposed to be short. That's what it's called, kind of ironic. And I had to study for so much more. What upsets me the most is like this big question right here where there's a lot of purple marker. I don't know if you could see that or not, but basically it says that I have not adequately responded and the question blah blah blah. And to focus more on the fact rather than my heart, or to show my commitment but in facts rather, because it's a law class. Well, I did do all of that. I gave 3 basic points that were directly linked to the question. I didn't understand what was going on with her and her marking, but I know that it wasn't right. So my English test was on the Bell Jar. It's a pretty decent book. If you want, you can go to the link in the description and there'll be a full review of the book on Weldon Witness. So I want to give you guys a little story about this test. It was a very, very big one, and our wrists were hurting by the end because of rubbing them in the paper. And my teacher said when the period was almost over that she may have overestimated us and that we should stop at a certain point rather than keep going and to continue the test tomorrow. But I, for one, was almost done. I kept my time up wisely, and I might have been the first one to hand it in, actually. But then the next day I end up with a clunker of a mark like the one I got. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but basically she gave the rest of the class so much more time, whereas I just handed it in. Maybe that's my fault. Maybe I should have just asked for the test back, but obviously I didn't want it back. I was way ahead, and I'm sure that I gave a good amount to each question. I mean, isn't it a bit annoying when you put way too much detail into every single thing? And as I said, our wrists were hurting. In one of the last questions when she asks me to brag more, I didn't have the time for that. I was panicking. I thought that we were going to end the test and I would get the mark that I got, and if I lost any questions, I'd get a 0. I don't know, it's my basic instinct. So why these 2 bad marks that I have to fight my teachers over? Well, I'm not sexist, and I'm never going to be, and I hate anyone who is. But my French teacher told me something recently that I think is very unforgettable and very thought-provoking. I'm in university level classes, and most of them are with girls. And she told me that that most of the classes at the college level are filled with boys, whereas in the university they're filled with girls. And that girls' marks seem to be going up, 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 and boys' marks are atrophying. I don't know why that is. I know some boys, yeah, but I'm not one of them. I'm a nerd, and nerds are supposed to change the world, right? Of course I'm a nerd. I have glasses, I've written novels, I love reading. I once made a 17-minute 3D animated movie. Of course I'm a nerd. But does the world expect more of boys, or do they have something against them? I don't know. I'm not saying that my teachers are sexist, but I think that it's a problem that's kind of been invisible from us. I'm not making up excuses for these 2 marks on my test. If you want, I can make a video on how a lot of these marks are very opinionated. And another thing. One of my teachers says to focus on the facts, and another says to use facts, but use my heart against it, and that other teacher says not to do that. It's just confusing for me. So it seems like every time I try to do something, it's incorrect. What's wrong with one or the other? But I'm in a bad mood, really, because of these 2 tests and how my world seems to be crushing around me in the school department, but I hope that you have a better day than I am right now. Bye.